Coach, I guess last time stepping into the talk, I mean, have you thought about what it's going to be like, and have you allowed yourself to think about what it's going to be like?
You know, I don't change very much. This is a day of work, no doubt about that. It means an awful lot to me for us to go out and play well and try to win a basketball game. Unfortunately, with so many of my former players and teammates coming to be a part of this event, it does take you back somewhat and makes you think about how fortunate I have been in my life to have enjoyed the experience of developing a relationship with your former teammates as well as the players. And now, not only your former players, now you've developed relationships with their family. And so to have so many of these guys coming back wanting to be a part of my last game, it puts you in the emotional frame of mind where you're so appreciative to the journey that I've been on. I've been so very, very blessed. I mean, I went to the University of Tennessee at Martin as the first African basketball player that I didn't know that was the case on my way there. But to think that I probably got 17 people coming from, I went there in 1968, and I have a bunch of the players and their wives and families coming in to be with me on my last game. Sam Bowie and Dirk Minifield from Kentucky, and probably got 10 or 12 or more coming from Miami. I even have staff assistants coming from Kentucky, people who have work studies in my office. People used to help me recruit from Kentucky, and then it's a plethora of players from Florida State. I mean, like Solomon Allaby bringing his family from Seattle, Ron Reed bringing his family, and those guys are taking time out of their schedule to want to be a part and be here with me, which is lets you know what the sport really means. It means a lot more than wins and losses. You know, the wins and losses you want is what kind of husbands, fathers, and neighbors they have become, how much they have learned under your tutelage that makes them the kind of people that they are. So this is a special day, but I can't get caught up in what's really important. It's trying to go out and be prepared against a very good SMU team.
I mean, is this almost like a wedding where like you're not inviting these people, but like you're close to all these guys, you speak to them all the time, but like, you don't know if they can come out and make it, and you speak to them all the time and you know the impact you've made, but just the overwhelming amount of like, you know all these people are going to be here for you because of the impact you made on their life.
Well, that means an awful lot. And when you take under consideration that they keep calling and saying, I'm coming, you know, and without being invited, they just feel a part of the journey and they want to be here to recognize themselves. Some of them, these guys have not seen each other for years. I was talking to Sam Bowie, and I told him Dirk Minifield was coming, and he was just elated to have an opportunity to spend time with one of his former teammates. So it's a lot going on right now, you know. So I'm looking forward to the day. I just want to stay focused, though, on what we're supposed to be doing.
Speaking of that, how do you you want to enjoy the day, but you have to remember the task at hand, and like you said, that's beating SMU. How do you channel that? How do you enjoy it, and then again try to get that
Well,
win?
I've always been a person that can multitask. Believe me. Like when I go to North Carolina, even though I'm from there, I don't call relatives. I don't make any extra phone calls for buddies. And, you know, those are business trips, and I got to treat this as such. It's in my last game here at Florida State. And okay, that's part B. Part A is let's prepare ourselves to play against a very good SMU team.
Is there anything beyond obviously wanting to win that you want to get out of this game to propel you guys into Charlotte in the ACC tournament?
Well, winning itself will be important enough to get us feeling good about ourselves going to the ACC tournament, because there's a lot of opportunities available there.
Confidence-wise too, I mean, lost 4, obviously we kind of want to get a little bit of confidence heading into the ACC tournament. Getting a win would do that for kind of the psyche of this team.
Well, to be very honest with you, with 10 new players, playing against a team, SMU, the probably average age is maybe somewhere between 23, 24, 25, the average age of the team. We're complete opposite. You know, a lot of times we're going to have 3 freshmen on the floor at the same time, 10 new guys who still trying to figure out how to play together. We're completely different than the way we built our program here at Florida State, and the reason we've had so much success. We've had built from within, had so many veterans, but that's not who we are now. So we asking our guys to be exceptionally focused, and we still in a teaching mode every day. You know, we still correcting things, and so right now we still learning. So every victory we get is important.
I know you guys are pushing these guys every single day in practice, but when you get to this point of the season where the amount of games is drying up here, do you guys like, you know, Maluk and Nitu, the way they're playing, does it give you hope for, you know, what they can accomplish here in the next?
There's no doubt that those guys have made progress. Every one of them, along with AJ and Daquan, they all are getting better. But what they're needed on, what we need from them though, sometimes is more than what their experience allows them to be sound in. And so we are, but it's great for their future. They're getting confidence. They're playing. Gosh, both of those guys, I think, what were they, 8 for 9 the other night? I mean, that's a long ways from where we started the season. So I'm seeing growth, and hopefully, as we wind the season down, that we'll be able to go do some special things. Every year, it's going to be somebody who comes up and have that Cinderella story. It's going to be somebody who's going to find a way to come together here this time of year and make the season something special for them. We hope we can be one of those teams.
That's what I was going to say. What do you think is special about this team that they could be that group of guys?
Well, I think we're growing. They love each other. You know, they play for each other, and they're learning and growing with every game. I mean, that you can see the two big guys how well they played in our last game. A lot different than what they were doing earlier in the year. So now they're not thinking as much; they're reacting.
Can you remember where you were, like when you found out this job opened, the first conversation you had, and what it was about this job that made you take it all those years ago?
Well, obviously, from working in the state for 10 years at the University of Miami, I felt very comfortable, and I'm very familiar with, you know, basketball within the state. I grew up in ACC country, and so that had effect. I mean, I've always had a tremendous amount of respect for the ACC, and it, from what I found out, it appeared that on the Dave Hart's regime, I thought that they had made a renewed commitment to basketball with just building this practice facility here, which spoke volumes about, you know, the commitment that Florida State was having to basketball. And I found those things very intriguing to me. And I thought maybe it was a possibility that I could be good for Florida State and Florida State could be good for me and my family. And so it's worked out. It's just to some degree.
Sorry, just last question for me. Have you found yourself over the last month just like walking through here?
No, absolutely not. The last
not
month,
appreciating like all these guys.
No, I appreciate it, but that's not something to think about when you're going through the season. You know, I've been coming here every day. You know, I know I'm gonna miss it. I know I'm gonna miss them, but I try to stay focused on the job that we have, and I'm sure I miss it. And obviously with so many of these guys coming back to be a part, even Chris Singleton and Pierre Jordan, those guys that were part of early beginnings here, it's a special moment for me. But I just don't want to get too far away from what the most important thing is prepare ourselves for SMU. And then I'm sure there'll be moments where I can enjoy the fellowship with all my friends come from all over the country.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you think there's anybody that you're going to see at the game that's going to strike a chord or going to hit you a certain way?
Well, so many of them. I mean, I've had great relationships with most of my players, you know, and so it's gonna be good to see them. I'm gonna try to let my wife handle most of it.
That's awesome.
All right.
Thanks.
She's the PR person, huh?